Hello and welcome to our October book club. I will kind of introduce this a little bit as we go. First of all, I have to say though, I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, and so I'm going to try to talk slowly so that I don't start coughing on you guys, because nobody wants that. I also have a glass of water here just in case. But if I start coughing too uncontrollably, we'll just call it off and try again some other time. But I didn't want to miss tonight if I didn't have to. So I'll introduce things as we go a little bit. I know some people kind of join in a little bit later, and some of you guys may come in on another day, and that's fine too. So if you're watching this later, you can also post and ask for recommendations of books, or share some books that you've been reading that you have enjoyed that you'd like to share with others. And so the same thing if you're joining with me live. So at any point, if you have a book recommendation you would like to ask for, if there's a particular kind of book that you like to read, I'll do my best to give you some suggestions, or maybe some of our other participants will have suggestions. And if you have read a book that you really enjoyed recently, then share that with us too. So feel free to chat as we go. I thought what I would do is fill you in a little bit on September and what I've been up to. Some of you who have been following my Facebook pretty closely know that I have been sick. So I did miss a couple of weeks this month with blog posts, but for the most part, I've been able to keep up with things. I did finish another round of revisions on my novel, which is pretty good, and I'm excited about that. I'm ready to get started on the next round as soon as I can. Still have a lot of work to do. Revisions are a big task and takes a lot more work than you may think, but it's so worth it because each round that I go through makes the book better and deeper. It makes my characters deeper. The motivations behind what they do will come across better. So those are some of the things that happen during revisions. Another thing that happened in September was, when is the release date? I hope next year, but we'll see. It's very dependent on a lot of things. But I really do hope next year. We'll see. So I had a summer reading challenge this summer, and it was so much fun to see the people participate and get excited about sharing the different books that they read. I added to my want to read list just from looking at what everyone else was reading. And then I had two winners. Two of them got through the first level of my challenge, and one of them got through the second level. So she read she read 6 books. So Candace and Jane, I'm super excited for those two, and I will be getting their prizes ready to send out later this week. So anyway, I'll be sure to take pictures of the prize pack before I send it out. But that was a lot of fun, and I feel bad that toward the end, this fall has been a little bit more challenging for me with school with the kids. Some of you guys know I homeschool my kids, and we've had a good start to the year, but it's been not exactly what I was expecting, and it's been a little bit more challenging for me this year. So between that and then the illness and some other things, I'm a little behind where I want to be, so I haven't been able to read as much lately as I'd like to. But with that said, I do have some exciting reads to share with you guys in just a minute. First, though, I do want to say I'm planning on doing the summer reading challenge again next summer. It'll be bigger and better. I've learned a few things. This was the first time I did it, and to be honest, I did it a little bit on a whim. And I didn't necessarily plan for it to be as big as it ended up being, but I'm super excited about it. So I'm looking forward to doing it again with more planning ahead of time for next year. So you can look forward to that next summer. All right, and then this past year, past year, felt like a year. All right, this past month, I got to read 2 novels from 2 of my critique partners. So these are books that are still in the works. They're not ready yet, but they will be. And you better believe when they are available, I will be shouting to everyone where to get it. Both of them were excellent. And this is one of the things that's super fun about being a writer is we get to read each other's work. We get to see what our friends are writing, and we get to see their process. And to me, that's one of the most exciting things because every writer has a different process of how they write, how they edit, how they revise. And so to see that for each of my friends and also to help them along the way with whatever feedback I can give is just super special and a lot of fun. So those are some of the things that I really look forward to and look forward to sharing with you guys as they get closer, their books get closer to being published and being available. So I won't tell you any more about the books themselves because, like I said, they're still in the works, but I'm really excited about them. But what I'm reading right now is a book by another writer friend. I'm in several different writing groups, and one of them is called Writer Moms. And these are all moms who write, obviously, as the name would tell you. But these ladies are super, super special. They're super inspirational because, just like pretty much every writer, they have a lot going on, but they still manage to write and produce good quality books and stories. And it's a lot of fun when I do get to read some of their books that are out there. So this one is called As a Sword in My Bones, and it's by Jessica C. Joyner. And Jessica is, she's been a lot of fun to get to know a little bit online. She's very encouraging to other writers, and she is very inspirational with the way that she's putting out a lot of books very quickly. She is also an indie author, which means she publishes her own books, and she's doing a great job of it. So, As a Sword in My Bones is an intriguing tale of a young prince whose kingdom's been stolen by the wicked queen, who also happens to be his mother. And so the question is, can he reign or can he regain his rightful place on the throne without giving up his faith in God and the people he loves the most? And I'm more than halfway through with this book right now. And I have to tell you, I didn't want to put it down today. Honestly, I'm really enjoying it. It's very intriguing. The characters, I'm enjoying getting to know the characters as we go through. And then she has also published a bunch of other books. She has a whole series that's called the Scott McCulley Espionage Adventure. All right, and this is, I think Amazon says it's good for kids ages 9 to 18. So probably depends on what reading level and interest your kids are, as far as, what age would actually enjoy this book. Now, I have the first one, and I'm looking forward to reading it soon, but I haven't read it yet. But I can tell you, for parents who are concerned about what their kids read, I can tell you that this is going to be a clean read, and it's about a spy. Okay, so the boy who is the main character is a spy, which, how cool is that? So I am looking forward to reading this book and then sharing it with my kids because I think that they would really like it. The first book is called A Tragic Introduction, and books 1 through 3 of this series are already out and available on Amazon. And her name is Jessica C. Joyner, again, so if you're interested. And I'll try to post some links for you guys too. But a few other books that I'm excited to read soon, and my voice is starting to go, so I'm probably not going to talk a whole lot more. But if you guys have any requests for recommendations of books to read, or if you want to share any books that you've been enjoying, go ahead and do that in the comments as I share these few with you guys. So the next one that I'm really looking forward to is called Reign of Mist, and it's by Australian author Helen Schurer. And this is the second book in her trilogy. The first book released last year, and it was called Heart of Mist. And these are fantasy books, and I really, really enjoyed her first one. I loved her writing. Her description of her world is just beautiful. I could definitely picture it. There's one part of her world where they all live kind of up in the trees, and I'm kind of a tree girl, so I really enjoyed that, and I could definitely picture that world and all of the people who live there. So this book, Reign of Mist, is already out. I think it came out last month. I can't remember the exact date, but it's already gotten great reviews. And I would highly recommend these if you like fantasy. These are YA books. If you have teenagers interested in YA fantasy and you would like to ask me questions about particular books, please feel free to message me anytime, because I'm more than happy to share with you my opinion of if YA books are really suitable for young adults or not. So if you have questions about any books that I recommend, specifically with your kids in mind, feel free to message me anytime. I'd be happy to help you out with that. So Heart of Mist, Reign of Mist, and then the other, and I know I'm going to mess up her last name, and I feel so bad about it, but her name is Claire Bainschbach. All right, it's Claire M. Bainschbach, Banschbach. And the reason I feel so bad is she was one of the judges for the competition that I won with my short story a few months back. So anyway, I always feel bad if I mess somebody's name up, because I know what that's like. I had kind of a weird maiden name. My name now isn't exactly the easiest, so I always feel bad when I mess up someone's name. But anyway, I have her first and second books in her The Fairies of Myrnius series, and Adela's Curse is the first one, and The Wolf Prince is the one that just came out. So I'm really looking forward to reading her books. I've heard good things, and I'm excited to read her work. So those are two more. And like I said, I'll try to come back later and give you guys some links to these books that I'm telling you about. So Eric tells us that he is reading C.S. Lewis on scripture, which is awesome. I love C.S. Lewis. I've read, of course, Chronicles of Narnia. I mean, probably a lot of us read that as kids, at least. But I've read some of his other stuff too as an adult, and his writing is just really good. So I haven't read that particular book, but I'm sure it's really good. So yeah, if you guys ever want recommendations on any particular kind of book, feel free to post. I post every Monday with our book club, and you can post in there, or you can just post on my page any day you think about it. If you're looking for a particular book, or if you just read one that you really want to share with other people because you really liked it, feel free to do that anytime. And so my voice is really completely going, so I'm going to say, recommend a series for beginner readers, level 1. Ooh, oh goodness. All right, I got to think about this. Oh man. Okay. I'm thinking back to when my kids first started reading. Are you looking for books for them to read or for you to read to them? To read to them is a little bit easier for me to go on. Charlotte's Web, any of those by E.B. White. Charlotte's Web, Trumpet of the Swan, those are really good at that age, just to captivate their imaginations. See, I'm trying to think of some others that I read with my kids at that age. I read some books with my kids that young that some people may not read to their kids until they get a little bit older. We read the Little House on the Prairie series. We read, let's see, Chronicles of Narnia. I'm trying to think what else. But for them to read, I mean, really, when they're just starting, the books that you get from the library that have like the levels on them, like the level 1, like you specifically said that, I mean, really most of those are very good books just for them to, as they're starting to pick out the words. But once they get past that process, I mean, the sky's the limit. Once they really start taking off with their reading. I'm going to get back with you on that because I can't think of any specific books for them to read themselves at that age. But really to read to them, what are they interested in? You know, I mentioned the E.B. White books because they all have animals. And so that really captivates their attention. So really any book like that that you can find that has animals is going to be good. For you to read to them, they're going to stay engaged. Even something like The Wind in the Willows, I read that book with a group of younger kids, and it has some language that's a little bit, I guess we would call it archaic or whatever, but the kids didn't have a problem with it. And I always found activities to go along with the chapters. So even though the language was a little bit harder for them, they still stayed engaged with the story because I would ask them questions. And because it's animals, they're going to be engaged with it even if they don't fully understand all the words. So yeah, so I will look into some other books specifically for them to read, and I will share those with you next time. That was a great question. I love it. I'm really leaning toward in November for our November book club. It'll be the first Monday of November. And I'm really thinking what I'll do is kind of a gift recommendation. So if you guys are starting now to think about Christmas and you're wanting to buy some books for kids or adults, doesn't matter. If you're looking for specific recommendations for specific ages and levels and interests, I'll start posting some things and you guys can comment to let me know what you're looking for. And I'll start kind of building a list for you with some suggestions. So that's what I think we'll do next month. So thank you guys for bearing with my crazy, not talking very well. And thank goodness I didn't start coughing. So you guys have a great week and thank y'all for joining in. Bye.